Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you doing tonight? Mashiba, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for inviting your followers. I appreciate it. Great. Today is going to be a great topic. Great topic. Hello, Bree Shantae. Welcome, welcome. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. Welcome to the scope. Come on in, come on in. Just waiting a few seconds for people to see that the broadcast is going live, and then we're going to just jump right in because tonight we're talking about Facebook groups, so I'm excited. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Hi, production. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So for those of you that may be watching me for the first time that haven't been connected with me before, I am Famira, the Diamond Diva, your visual impactologist, and I am a brand coach, strategist, as well as designer, and I help women that are multifaceted, multi-talented, and multi-gifted brand their business that encompass all of who they are, not just bits and pieces. And so I'm excited to have this edition of Branding After Dark. Welcome, beautiful anomaly. I like that. Welcome. And so tonight we are talking about our Facebook groups, Cramping Your Style. You must be intentional, right? You must be intentional. So all week long on Branding After Dark, we have been talking about different ways to increase engagement in order for you to get seen on social media. And so tonight I'm going to talk specifically about you being a member of other people's Facebook groups, right? So there's a couple things that you can do in order to make sure that you're standing out in Facebook groups and really to create engagement and get conversation going, right? And able to connect with people. Hi, welcome, welcome, and be able to connect with people. So we're gonna dive into that. So what I do want to ask you to do right now, because we're in the beginning of this episode of Branding After Dark, if you will scroll up or scroll right and invite your followers, send it out to Twitter as well as all of your Periscope peeps so people can get on while we're in the beginning of this awesome content that I have to share with you all on tonight. Also, make sure that you are hearting it up. I am like so close to 100,000 hearts. And so I think we can do it on this episode of Branding After Dark. So I'm excited. So Facebook groups. So we all, we're joining Facebook groups. I talked about this piece of it a little bit last night when I was talking about how with you having your own Facebook group, really want to talk just a few moments about etiquette though when it comes to inviting people to Facebook groups. Right now, the way Facebook groups are set up, there is not an invite button, right? So when you click to add someone to a group, it just automatically puts them in the group. It does not send them an invitation of sorts. It just says you've been added to this group, which can be really annoying, especially for people that, are active on social media or have tons of friends. If everyone is just automatically adding them to Facebook groups, it's really kind of rude, right? So you want to make sure that before you are adding someone to a Facebook group, even though you think it might be perfect for them, that you just shoot them an inbox message and say, I have this group that I think you would, love to be a part about. This is a little bit about it. If you want me to, I'll add you. Because like for me, when people just add me to Facebook groups that they haven't asked me and I haven't asked to be a part of, I automatically leave the group. And so, and if the person continues to do it, then they end up getting deleted. So you don't want that to happen. So you just want to make sure that you're using proper Facebook etiquette for group adding for those that are on your friend list. But so if you're on, can you comment in the chat box and let me know if you're new here, if this is your first time on one of my scopes, and let me know where you are tuned in from. And I would love to know that. I love to find out where different people are in parts of the world. In the meantime, I'm going to jump right in. So the number one way for you to be intentional when you are in other people's Facebook groups is to remember that it is a community. Welcome, LaQuisha. Hi. We're just getting started, so perfect timing. Oh, hi, Zachary from Louisiana. Welcome. So the very first thing you want to do is to remember that it is community, and you want to be community minded, right? So when you're in other people's Facebook groups, you really want to set yourself up as an asset to the group. So you want to go into the group with the mindset that it is a community, right? And it is a community that you are coming in to be a part of. Welcome, love, welcome. And so it's kind of like going to somebody's home. You want to come in, you walk into somebody's home, you introduce yourself, you mingle with the people that are there in the house, create conversation with them. It's the same thing with Facebook groups, right? So when you come in, when you become a member of a Facebook group, most Facebook groups either have a post where you introduce yourself, or they have you to introduce yourself, you know, to the group as a whole. So you want to make sure that you're doing that, and that you introduce yourself, and that you kind of jump into the community environment that's already been created in that group. If you've been in the group for a while and new people are coming in, you want to make sure that you're welcoming new people. You want to make sure that you reintroduce yourself, right? Because if there's new people in the group, they don't know what you do. They don't know who you are. So you want to take that time to actually reintroduce yourself to the group as well. Welcome, Rashida. Hi. Make sure you all invite your followers as well to Scope. So you want to have that mindset of community, because it will make your actions that you take inside the Facebook group very intentional. And that's what you want to do. These things are strategy. When you're looking at social media for business, it is strategy behind it. You want to, it's not just you only being social. You want to make sure that you're doing things strategically that is going to help you in building your business and building your own following and getting you connections and increasing your network, right? And so the number 2 is that you want to be valuable to the group. So when you're joining someone else's group, you want to show that you are a valuable member of their group. So how do you do this? One of the ways that I do this is when I'm in groups, I will answer, if I see questions, especially if they're in my particular industry, I make sure that I answer the questions. I don't, I don't go out and say, I'm answering your question because I'm a branding coach. But if someone asks a branding question, I just answer the question, right? I'll just post my answer. Once people start to see that you're answering the same type of questions, then they realize, okay, this is where your expertise lies, because this is where she always shows up. This is the capacity that he shows up within this Facebook group. And so this does 2 things. One, it does help you to position yourself as an expert, because the more feedback and more value that you're giving in the group, people begin to see where your genius zone is at. So whether it's posting, tips in regards to your field, whether it's you find an interesting article, one that maybe you wrote, or even one that you didn't write. Welcome, Songbird. Even if it's one that you didn't write, but it's in your industry, it still sets you up as an industry leader, because they begin to see, oh, you're branding, or you're into health and wellness, whatever your industry is. So you want to be valuable within the group, so that you become kind of like a pillar of that group. So right here, before I go on to number 3, I want to say the best thing to do is to really look at all the groups that you're in, and I would say at the most, pick 5 groups, right? Pick 5 groups that really have your ideal client in it, where you actually like the vibe of the community of the group, and tell yourself, these are going to be my 5 groups that I'm going to really show up in, right? That I'm really going to create community within these 5 groups. Because once you start trying to be active in 10 and 20 and 30 groups, it almost ends up becoming kind of spammy, because what happens is you are 9 times out of 10 you're posting the same content in every group, right? So if you're posting the same content in every group, but you're posting it in 10 and 20 groups, you get people that are in all of those same groups with you. It kind of comes off yucky, right? It comes off like, she's showing up in here the same way she showed up in all the other 10 groups, and now these people have 10 posts in their feed showing where you've posted to all of these different groups because they're members of the groups with you. So you, even in that, you want to be very selective in regards. I'm about to knock the tripod over. We don't want to do that. I'm about to knock the tripod over. You want to be very strategic in regards to the groups that you're truly going to be active in, because even with being active in 5 groups, then you can put the same content in maybe 2 of them, different content in the other 3, you know, and then vice versa. So that way, when you do show up in people's feeds, if they are in more than one of those 5 groups with you, it doesn't come off as spammy because they're seeing different information from you in different groups, and that type of thing. So you want to be mindful of that, because I know I have some people that are on my friends list, and we're in several groups together. Some I'm active in, some I'm not, but I'm just in there because, to be honest, I just haven't cleaned out my my list of groups yet, and so which I will be doing, and which you should do every now and then as well. So, and then all of a sudden in my newsfeed, I have so and so posted it here, they posted here, they posted here, they posted here, and it's like all these posts because they posted the same exact thing in all 20 groups, and it's like, ugh, okay. So just be mindful of that. I don't think that a lot of people realize that that happens in people's news feeds, and so I wanted to bring that to your attention. So number 3, you're in a group. It's a community. You have to support. You have to support the group, right? You have to support other people in the group. You cannot be selfish as a member of the group and only want to be in the group when it's about you posting about yourself or posting your stuff, right? So even if you're posting motivational things, whether it's a quote or a meme of encouragement, or even if you're posting valuable information, like I said, articles, tips in your industry, it seems like, I know it would be natural to think that, okay, well, I'm posting all this great information, that should be good enough. But at the end of the day, just like you want people to communicate and be active on your posts, everybody else wants people to be active on their posts too. So every now and then you have to be mindful to make sure that you go in, and when someone else has posted, genuinely interact with them on their post, right? Because really, what better way to network with people and engage with people than to comment on the post that they posted? So, you know, and you can go into Facebook groups. This is something that you have to do better with that, LaQuisha. We all do, girl. We all do. But one thing I want to tell you, when you go into Facebook groups, which is something I've just started actually doing myself, there's a search button, right? Hey, Nia. There's a search button at the top of the Facebook group where you can actually search for words within the group. So you can always, if there's certain interests that you have, regardless of whether or not it's your industry. Like for me, I'm a branding coach. However, I'm interested in travel and fashion. That's part of my passions, as well as self-development, personal development, and those type of things. So I'll go into a group and I may search for fashion and see what posts are people talking about fashion on. So even though I'm not a fashion coach or an image, coach, I do some of that with branding. But if someone is in there and they're talking about their new designs or whatever the case may be, whatever part of fashion or beauty industry that they're in, because that's a genuine interest of mine, I will go in and interact on their post, right? If I put in travel and somebody's talking about how they took a trip, or they're getting ready to take a trip, or maybe they're a travel agent or whatever, then I will go interact with them on their posts. And I may actually have some genuine questions that I need to ask. And so I will ask my questions. And then that's how I'm able to connect with people and build relationships within the Facebook group. So you want to make sure that you're doing that. Show interest and support other people. Hi, favorite minded. The next one, number 4, is share on the specific days for promoting. So then what you want to make sure that you do is that you definitely read the rules of the group, right? Because every group has its own set of rules. It has its own community. It has its own vibe, its own feel. You want to make sure that you have paid attention to what the rules are. You want to make sure that you are filling out what the actual vibe of that community is. And when it comes to promoting, you want to make sure that you follow those guidelines. So a lot of groups, they may have specific days that you can promote. You have some groups that will allow you to promote whenever you want to. You still want to be careful in regards to promoting so that you don't come off kind of like as the used car salesman of the group where everything you post is always about something that you're selling or linking back to your, you know, your Facebook page. Sometimes just have conversation. And I actually get more interest in more people that reach out to me just from having conversation with them than I do on actual post when I'm promoting something specific. So you want to be careful, and you want to be aware of what the rules are around promoting, because a lot of these groups now, because there's so many groups and there's so much of an issue right, with spamming, people gonna put you out. They'll put you out their group, they will delete you out the group, and they will block you, and you will not be able to get back into the group. So you don't want that to happen. So you want to be very crystal clear. If they have a specific day that they are for promoting, then promote on that day. Don't try to be slick. Don't try to slide in a link, you know, or whatever. Just wait to that day, or go find the post. So say for example, their day to promote is Friday, right? And most groups don't take the post down. Some groups do, most don't. So say it's today, it's Thursday, and I have something I want to promote. I will go look for the post from last Friday and put it up. If I just can't wait till tomorrow, you know, if I could just wait till tomorrow, then I just post on a new post. But you can do that as well, but keep it on the post that they have specified for promoting. Don't just try to post it in a group. So you want to be aware of that, because that's a surefire way to give yourself a bad name inside groups, which then trickles out onto your regular Facebook page. People talk, you know, it's social media, but people still talk, you know, just like people talk in real life in your community, people talk inside the Facebook community. You know, we know who is the spammer. You find out quickly who's jumping in people's inboxes uninvited, because people are connected. People that are building real relationships, you know, with one another, they talk to each other and they let them know, girl, you know who so-and-so was in my inbox, just ain't never said nothing to me ever. And it's just like, I got this great deal for you. You know, that's a surefire way for you to not get business when you're trying to actually get business. So I talked about the search feature. That was actually my number 5. I kind of jumped ahead, I guess, because I really like that search feature inside the groups, because it allows you to be more strategic in actually finding the posts that interest you, or to actually find where people are asking questions that relate to your industry, right? So like for me, I may go in and I'll search branding, I may search graphics, I may search Canva, I may search the word systems or something like that, and see what people are posting about it. A lot of times people are asking questions, and then that's how I'm able to find questions that may have gotten, you know, posted. Yes, the search feature. So there's a search feature in every group. So when you're inside the group, you can actually search for keywords. You can even search people's names, right? So you would click the search button and you could put in words. So like for you, LaQuisha, you may hit the search button and put in sisterhood, or you may put in etiquette. You may search and put in self-esteem. You may, you know, something that relates to your field. And what will happen is any post that someone has posted, or a post with a comment that has that word in it, will show up in the feed, and then that way you're able to target and comment specifically on those items. The other thing that's great about the search feature is, say for example, LaQuisha, you and I are in a group together, and I made a post and you had a chance to comment on it, but you wanted to comment on it, but now it's been, 12 hours later, there's tons of posts. You can actually search my name in the search box, and it will bring up all of the posts that either I posted or that I commented on, so that you can find the post that you actually wanted to respond to quicker without having to scroll through, all the all the tons. Yep, that's happened. That way you don't have to scroll through all of the feed looking for that post that you were trying to comment on. You could just search the person's name if you remember the person's name that posted it. So the search button is very, is awesome. I love the search button. So you want to utilize it definitely. And it is, like I said, a way for you to target who is talking about the topics that you can lend your expertise to. And then the other one that I wanted to do is you can be strategic, because there's, Facebook and social media period can be like the black hole of your business if you're not careful. Because I don't know about y'all, but you get on Facebook and you say, I'm just going to be on Facebook for like 20 minutes. And then next thing you know, it's 3 hours later and you're still on Facebook and you haven't got nothing done, right? And so, because it can become addictive and time consuming. So when you are an entrepreneur, especially when you're a solopreneur, you have to be doing other things, right? There's other things to be working on in your business and on your business. You can't really afford to be on Facebook all day long. So what I do oftentimes is when especially on a day when I know I have to get stuff done, right? And I know I don't have a lot of extra spare time to really be messing around with Facebook, I will schedule time. I will say, I'm going to get on Facebook between 11 and 12 today, and I'm going to hit my 5 groups. I'm going to make my comments, make my posts, talk to a couple people. If there's been people in the group that I've, had conversations with before on previous posts, then I'll go and I'll search their names, see if they have anything new up. If they do, I'll, comment on those things and say, great, haven't seen you, seen you in a while, blah, 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 that type of thing. Yes, set time for emails and social media, definitely emails, because you get lost in the abyss of email. So by setting that time, then you're focused, and so you go in and you're more strategic. You hit what you need to hit inside the groups. You spend time. It allows you time to actually nurture those people that you are trying to build relationships with inside the groups, and then you can go on to do the rest of your work, and then come back later on in the evening if you want to, like now, when you wind down some, and then go see what people have said in regards to what you have put in or comments that you may have made, and then touch base with them again. No one has to know that you scheduled the time, right? But it helps you create consistency within these communities, so you begin to be recognized, right? So one of the very first Facebook groups I ever was a part of, and most people that have followed me know this, but was Patrice Washington's The Winner Circle. It was that's one of the very first Facebook groups I was a part of. It's really kind of where I got my chops in regards to my business and creating my business, and I learned so much. And I made a lot of contacts out of the Winner Circle and now I joined the Winner Circle 2 years ago. I made so many contacts. I've met so many great people, formed so many relationships from that one group that I still utilize today. I still talk with them. I still connect with them, including Patrice. And one of the ways I did that was that I made myself the appointed welcome wagon, right? So nobody asked me to, but for me, it was a way for me to meet people. So anytime a new person would get added to the group, and either they introduce themselves or Patrice would post and say, welcome this person, I would always get on their post and welcome them to the group, ask them a couple questions to find out more about them, who they were, and that type of thing. But at the time, remind you, that's the only group I was in. I was only in that one group. So I got on it, but that's what I did. And, you know, so M.E. Porter, I met her there. Jennifer Pink, I met her there. Shamika Murphy, I met her there. Like Cosette White, all these wonderful coaches in all these different industries I met in that group. And a lot of it was because I just decided I was just going to be the welcome wagon, right? And so I just would go in and welcome everybody. And, you know, when people commented, anytime I saw a post go that had no comments on it, I would always comment on it so that the person wouldn't feel, you know, by themselves. But what happened was, I began to know what everybody's industry was, right? And what everybody was known for. So if I saw a post where someone was asking some financial question, that wasn't my area, but I was connected to people in there that I knew did finances. And so when I would see the post, I would tag those people to the post and say, hey, you know, Cosette, hey, Shamika, this person has a money question. Maybe you can help them, you know. And I would tag them to the post, and then they would come to the post and they would be able to interact and show their expertise. But I was the one that connected the person. So the person who's posted is, of course, they always would thank me. And then when I posted, of course, everybody would come out the woodwork and comment on my post or help me with my question, because I was always being there to help other people. So even inside Facebook groups, you have to be the person that you want, right? So the person that you want other people to be for you, you have to be for other people. It is definitely reaping and sowing. And so, and for those of you that are watching that have your own Facebook group, how you act in other people's Facebook group is going to be a direct reflection of what happens in your Facebook group. So if you're not having, you know, a community mindset, if you're not going in and sharing value in other people's Facebook groups, if you're not engaging in other people's Facebook groups, creating that whole environment, don't be surprised when your Facebook group is quiet and when no one is doing nothing in your group, or they're just dropping off their information and leaving. It's because you're putting off that same vibe in everybody else's group, and so you are now reaping that in your own. So for me, I've been in the Winner Circle, like I said, 2 years. I'm still in that group. That's still one of my groups, because it's was my very first group. So I probably would never leave that group. And I'm still very active in that group, right? I still support that group. I actually do some admin work inside that group for her. Because I know eventually once my group gets to a certain level, I want to attract those same type of people that will say, I've been in the group conglomerate for 2 years. I would love to be an admin. I will continue to support you. So I do the same thing. So you have to really be aware of that piece of it too. It cannot just be all about you and what you're trying to get out of the group. Really go into the group with the mindset of, what can I offer? What can I give of my gifts and of my genius inside the group to make this group even better than what it is? Because groups are really only as great as the people. So if no one is in there with the community mindset, that's how you get those stale groups that nobody's really talking in. Everybody's just dropping off their promotional items and then they're dipping out, right? So then it really becomes more like the yellow pages than than a Facebook group. So I hope this is being beneficial to you all. My hearts are not flowing, and my Periscope thing has been acting crazy. So I don't know if people are even still on with me or anything or what. So if you're still on, if you will tap that screen, throw me some hearts, and let me know I'm not here by myself. I appreciate it. And for those that were jumping in a little late, I just want to run back through the 6 things that I shared on how to really be intentional inside of Facebook groups in order to build relationships and get engagement for yourself and for people to know exactly what you do in the industry. So the number 1 thing is that you have to be community minded. You have to go into it with the mindset that I am coming to be a part of this community, and it's not just about you. Number 2, you have to be valuable. So you want to get in and answer people's questions. If someone has a question and you know the answer, offer the answer. You know, especially groups with other entrepreneurs, a lot of people normally want to know things about running their business. You don't have to be a business coach to answer the question. If you're using a certain system and it's working great for you, share that information on the post, answer the question. Number 3 is to offer support and show interest. You want to offer support to other people, comment on their posts, start conversations with them on their own turf, and really show interest in what other people are sharing. Genuinely, don't be fake with it. That's why I said use the search button so that you can really pick up on things that you enjoy, and that are of interest to you, and comment on those things. You want to share on the specific day for promoting. Please, please, please make sure that you understand the rules of the group that you're in, to make sure that promoting one is even allowed, because some Facebook groups you can't promote at all. And so you want to make sure that it's even allowed. And if it is allowed, is it only allowed on a certain day or on a certain post, or how does it work? So that you're very crystal clear. And if ever in doubt, inbox the admin, right? So inbox the admin and ask them, I'm not quite sure if I'm allowed to post my, because sometimes some groups will let you post your own blogs, some don't. So if you're unsure, what I would do is I'll send an inbox to the owner of the group or to one of the admins, and I'll just simply say, I have this blog post that I think would be helpful to the group, but I'm not sure if that's allowed or is that considered promoting. And they'll tell you, yeah, you can share, and no, you can't, whatever. And then you just abide by, whatever they say. Number 5 is using that search button. Make that search tool your best friend inside Facebook groups. It really helps you cut down on the time and get really strategic and intentional inside your groups. And number 6 is to set up a specific time to spend inside groups. And so it doesn't have to be long. It could be 30 minutes. It could be an hour that you decide that you're going to dedicate only to the Facebook group, and then divide that time up amongst the 5 that you're in, right? And so the ones that you're going to be active in, I said, you can be in more than one, maybe that you just kind of keep an eye on, that you may decide you want to cultivate later. But for ones that you're truly trying to cultivate, I suggest doing 5. If you feel like you can handle more than that, then I say try it. But I just know from experience that normally 5 is about the max that most people can handle. And so that's pretty much it. That's what I just wanted to share on tonight in regards to Facebook groups. So I hope this has been helpful. I do want to answer any questions. If anyone has any questions in regards to Facebook groups or how to get noticed and seen in Facebook groups, feel free to drop the question inside the chat, and I will answer those questions for you, because that's what I'm here for, right? I want to make sure that people are getting their questions answered. If no one has any questions, though, I won't hold you all. If I can just ask everyone that is still on to just hit their screen and give me some hearts. I'm so close to 100,000 hearts. I'm hoping that I can hit it. If we haven't hit it already, I can't tell. It won't. Oh, I'm so close. I'm at 99,666. I only need like 300 more. So if you can hit that screen for me and we could get those hearts, I'd appreciate them. So if you're watching the replay, hit those hearts for me as well. You can still show me love on the replay. And you can still share this scope with your followers if you're watching on a replay. So if there's no questions, then I won't keep you all. I thank you all so much for joining me for Branding After Dark. I am Famira, the Diamond Diva, your visual impactologist. Hey, Mimi, I'm actually getting ready to get off. Your visual impactologist. And I help women entrepreneurs who are multifaceted, multi-passionate, and multi-gifted to brand themselves, to truly show up and stand out in the marketplace. And so if that's you, I would love for you to check me out on my website at www.famira, that's F as in fabulous, AMIRA, green just like the color.com. If you're coming in now, you can definitely check out the replay. I gave some really great information on Facebook groups and how to utilize Facebook groups and get seen and create engagement and build relationships. So, Branding After Dark will be back on Monday. I'm doing Branding After Dark Monday through Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you tune in next week. So the way Branding After Dark is going to work, just so you all know, each week we'll have a theme, and then each night I will talk about something different as it relates to that theme. So next week is all about content. So I'll be talking about content on social media, content for your blog, content for your email list, and some other things as well as it relates to creating content, getting content that converts to clients, and all of that. So make sure you don't miss out next week, Monday through Thursday, 11 p.m. Eastern. Set your clock. Set your clock so you don't miss it, and join me for Branding After Dark. You all have a great evening, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.